Welcome back to IGN at Comic-Con in San Diego 2016 live. I'm Brian Altano. This is Terry Schwartz. I'm with Kim Dickens and Cliff Curtis. Thank you guys so much for coming. This is Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah, thank you.
Your characters are still alive.
Yeah.
That's a plus.
Yep.
It's a good start.
It's great.
Hanging in there.
Another season.
The second half of the second season's starting up again soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do we have a date?
August 21st.
August 21st.
Yeah.
We're all very secretive about it. We're like,
Yes.
do we know yet? Yes, we know. So thank you guys so much for coming. How's Comic-Con so far?
Yeah, it's great.
It's off to a
it's
good
really
start.
good. It's very warm outside.
Yeah.
It's nice and cool in here.
Yep, right by the beach.
So let's talk about Fear the Walking Dead. Spin-off show for The Walking Dead, obviously one of the biggest shows in TV history. I can call it that, right?
Yeah,
Companion
yeah.
series. Oh, but we're a companion series, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
A companion series.
Because we didn't spin off the original show.
That's true, because you're kind of happening at the same time as some of the events of the original series, but on the opposite side of the country.
Shining a light on a different time period, different area, completely different people. Los Angeles fell in the first season, and now we were on the water, and we're in Mexico, newly in Mexico, and everyone is split up at this point. That's basically where we left, which must be a bit different after the family dynamic was such a big part of the show. Up until
Yeah,
this
we were
point.
all like really struggling to stay in this clinch together, and we, circumstances tore us apart. So we're left all, sort of adrift, really, adrift on land.
Yeah, it's exciting because we're gonna see the characters evolve in ways we couldn't as a group. Especially like characters like Nick and Alicia. We're gonna really see them evolve. And then I think Coleman, you and Coleman, like you bring the best out in each other in a different way, which is really exciting. The fans love that.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
It's really interesting because like so much of the show up until this point has been trying to keep this family dynamic together, and now you guys are with your respective children on the show. You're separate. And you finished filming the second half of the season,
Yes.
so. Obviously you can't give away spoilers, but what was the really exciting part about having the groups separate, and what did you sort of learn about your characters?
Well, like Cliff said, it was like what was good about separating the family was going off and having these storylines get to really flesh out for all these other characters, and in sort of a solo sort of way. And of course, for Madison, she still believes that she's going to get back together, find her partner, and find her son. She hasn't given up hope, but in the meantime, they're doing the best they can in the moments. But it was great for us to explore storylines that way, and I think for the writers too, because you can examine all the different ways that people are handling and adapting to the apocalypse. But for us as actors and stuff, we started to miss it. We really missed each other, when we got separated.
So I think when we first heard about this show, we thought, I kind of personally thought it would stay calmer for a little while longer. And it really went to hell very fast. What was it like sort of adapting to that, or watching those characters go through such dramatic ranges of terror and traumatizing moments so quickly?
Well, it's fun to play.
Yeah, well, it gives us lots to do, and it's never boring. For Travis, he's still obsessed with this whole idea of morality and humanity and trying to be this perception of what a good guy is. And the great thing about getting out there and trying to take care of his son, Chris has just gone off the deep end.
Yeah.
And he's trying to save him, basically. He's on a mission to save his son and to be the best dad that he can be. And but the tricky thing with that character and Chris as well is they're grieving the loss of Liza still. It's like been only a short time in their lives. But that morality is going to be challenged now. I think we're going to see Travis do things that some fans are going to be a bit shocked by, and the whole idea of what's right and wrong, what's good or bad. In the apocalypse, it's just survival and family. That's all that matters.
Well, it's also, I think, in the medium of a movie, a horror movie specifically, a character will die and they're like, oh man, and then just keep running and deal with it. But on TV, you've got this sort of long-form way of telling that story where they can actually have that downtime moment and let it catch up to them. Where all of a sudden they're like, everything got really bad and this is horrible, and now I have a moment to actually think about this.
Yeah.
We spend time apart thinking about. Well, it's good because we need to find out what means the most to us, because while the stakes are just pure survival a lot of the time, aren't they? We're just like going from moment to moment, trying to survive. But it is good to have a moment to sort of think, okay, is my son right? Is Chris right? It looks like he's losing his mind, but maybe he's the one that's onto it and we're all wrong. And that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
So how do you be a good father to that, or do you be a badass dad? You know, it's like, that could be an interesting Travis journey.
Depends. I think a lot of kids would like to see that from their dad, just personally, selfishly.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
it is interesting, before we move on from the Chris and Travis journey and move on to Madison and everyone else, but you summed it up really well when you said Chris went off the deep end. I think that's like a light way of putting it. And it's interesting that you're looking at it that way, like, is he right? Because as a viewer, I'm like, he has done all these terrible things. Is there a point where Travis says, my son is too far gone and it's hurting my own survival and the rest of my family's survival? Do you guys deal at all with that dilemma, and can you sort of expand on what you meant by Travis doing some things that people might be surprised by?
Well, I can't go too far, but I like the idea that he's going from being a good father to maybe being a badass dad. I think that's kind of like in a simplistic way. But I look at characters like Alicia and Nick, you know, and the relationship between Madison and Alicia. There's a mirror there, because you know, she's lost her son and I'm losing my son. You know, she's struggling with her relationship with Alicia, but Alicia and Nick, they're making decisions on their own terms now. They're not beholden to us as parents, certainly not to me. And it's even challenging Madison, right?
Yeah, it's like Madison's, you know, she still sees Nick as like this impressionable child, this vulnerable child in the world. And, you know, she goes to great measures, in fact, to still save him, as the mid-season finale. As we saw, she took a living person's life. You know, it still didn't work. And she still, you know, is going to be challenged. You know, she's left with her daughter. And in a way, you know, that's good. That offers growth for them, and they can maybe right their relationship too. But it's like, yeah, they're growing into young adults, and the parents aren't ready to let that go.
Well, yeah, but we're gearing up into the apocalypse. You know, we're not full apocalypse. We're getting close to full apocalypse now.
70% apocalypse.
Yeah, we're almost there. And it's like giving us time as a family to decide what kind of family we're going to be.
Yeah, I mean, there's time in this second half of the season. For all of us, there are moments of reflection and trying to reconcile things and trying to start over in a way. How will we start over? So you get to see these characters play out those real responses, you know, rather than just game on, apocalypse. It is, wow, how do I reconcile this with who I was before? I mean, so we're only, the second season takes over a month, just a month. So
it's a matter of weeks.
It's a short amount of time. Has passed.
It's really interesting too, like you sort of around, but Madison has gotten a lot harder since when we met her. You know, taking someone's life is a big step, and for the sake of her family, how much is that going to inform her journey going forward? Are we going to see some negative repercussions on sort of her psyche and her actions as she's making these hard calls?
Well, I think, you know, that was a big line to cross for Madison when she took Celia's life like that. And I think Madison's instincts took over in that moment. I don't think it was a matter of planning it or plotting it or thinking it until she was in that moment. And yeah, I think she's changed now. I think she's a changed person, and she will have to reconcile that for herself and keep that secret. But I kind of also think it's a little bit of a reflection of what she's come from in her past as well.
All right. Well, Fear the Walking Dead comes back August 21st. I'm very excited to see how much worse this gets for everyone. I mean that in the best way possible.
So bad.
Oh yeah, it gets a lot worse.
Thank you so much for watching. This is IGN Live at San Diego Comic-Con. We've got tons of stuff to cover all weekend long, so don't move.